Got to start right here in the BronxNet studios. We welcome you back. His journey took him to ABC, New York City Transit, the Tribeca Film Festival, and right back here to BronxNet Television. Joined by fellow filmmaker Jason Figueira is Anthony Saldana. We welcome you guys to the show.
Hi.
Hi. All right. So you guys been having fun on this wonderful journey.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Definitely. So how does it feel to go from BronxNet to ABC to the Transit Authority? You're doing some wonderful things with them.
It's amazing to come full circle, really. I mean, I got my start right here on BronxNet, editing packages for this show. And to be back on the show promoting my project now is amazing.
And you're his partner, right?
Yes, co-director.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I know you're having fun on this journey too.
Oh, yeah.
You didn't start out in this, right? How did you get into it?
Well, I started out a little bit differently from Anthony. I started out at Queens Public Television doing interning, and then I moved on to Hasha, to graduate school doing documentary.
Yeah.
So I was the perfect candidate to help him out. And you know, I was doing AV work at Hasha as well.
Yeah. You know, it's hard to find somebody in the business that you really gel with or have a chemistry with. How did you guys find that chemistry?
We're just great friends, and it just so happens
that helps.
Right? Yeah. And we have great chemistry on the set. You know.
So you just said, let's put this together.
Absolutely.
The idea
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Well, I'm always brainstorming ideas when I'm bored. And one of the ideas, one of the ideas I had when I was bored was, I wonder how blind people perceive art. And then I just started thinking, well, I started researching it, and I realized that there's a huge possibility here. When do you ever see blind people on television?
Yeah.
This could be a series.
Yeah.
And from there, I just thought, what's the most important topic I can delve into? And that's when I started to research the National Federation of the Blind and the activism that they do.
And you called it "We're Ordinary People."
Right.
Why?
Because after spending 6 months just before I even brought out the camera, I spoke to a lot of people, and that is the theme of the episode. They're ordinary people, and that's...
They don't want to be seen as anybody else.
Exactly.
They want you to treat them just as you treat everybody else, right?
Right.
Yep.
They just have they have a problem they can't see. So how do you accomplish what you need to accomplish with the people who are vision impaired?
Jason?
Well, I mean, in terms of basically trying to portray them as ordinary people, I think the most important thing to do with a subject, especially when you're trying to get them to open up about themselves, is to spend time with them.
Right, exactly.
It's really all in the pre-production. You know, it's not just coming out there with a camera and say, hey, let me just interview you. You really hang out with them. You find out what their interests are. You learn more about them as people. And that's really, I think, the key to this whole documentary.
Right.
Is that's especially what Anthony did. He became a member of the NFB. He went to their meetings and he literally researched their group and these people themselves. Yeah.
So what are some of the things that you had to do? You just come to the meeting places, and is there one person or a group of people that stood out?
There's a group of people, but I had contacted several groups, but the leader of the National Federation of the Blind, he contacted me, and we had a dinner, and then he invited me to the groups, and it was important that I got it. Yeah. And he wouldn't let me in unless I understood that I had to tell the story from their perspective. And once I allowed him to know that was my what I wanted to do, he was comfortable. And once I went to the meeting, I just started listening and looking for the characters that I wanted in the documentary. And it was quite apparent when you're in the room who should be in the documentary. And you know, I was thinking one day I want to interview someone who's really passionate about, you know, blind rights for the blind, and it's quite apparent who was, and he is in the documentary called.
And you found those characters in the room?
Yes, I did.
Wow. Okay, so you didn't have to put out a casting call or anything
Absolutely
like that.
not.
Right there.
It was. I also, as I was continuing throughout the journey, it appeared clear to me that I had to do also a spiritual aspect of it, because before you can advocate, you have to accept what has been dealt to you. So we went out and found a blind priest who travels all across the country doing retreats.
So you spent some time with him too, and
Yes.
picked his brain, found out some information.
And
Father
then-
Patrick Martin. Yeah.
Right.
What's his name?
Father Patrick Martin.
Right here in the Bronx?
No, he's in Manhattan.
Yeah. And then from there, we had an idea of why not find a blind rabbi. So we traveled to Jersey and found a blind rabbi, and that led to another adventure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had to post it up on YouTube. It was just an entire adventure in and of itself.
So all
It
of
was.
these are characters that you found to be a
Yes.
part of the documentary?
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. And then who else do you have in there?
Well, we have
Because now you're on a mission.
we do. Well, I mean, once we thought, okay, we have a blind rabbi and we have a blind priest. Let's just let's have a Muslim imam and a Buddhist monk. Just even if they're not disabled, just talking about the topic of suffering.
Sure.
So we have a diverse panel.
So, Jason, give us a quick synopsis of what's to expect. What are we?
Well,
what
in
are
the
we gonna
first
see?
episode,
what are we going to learn?
Well, in the first episode, you're going to learn about blindness and activism. How do blind people fight for their rights, and what stereotypes are they fighting against? There are a variety of stereotypes out there, and I'd like to throw this fact out.
Go ahead.
Over 70% of blind people are unemployed, and a lot of that, I would say, unemployment comes from stereotypes. Well, they say, oh, they can't do
Absolutely.
the job, their medicals are going to be through the roof, all these different stereotypes that people say, well, they're not fit for the job because they're blind, but these are very highly intelligent, highly skilled people.
And with the technology that we have today, I mean,
Absolutely.
doesn't it just put that to bed?
And
Exactly.
it became very apparent from the beginning when we found out this terrible statistic that would be the focus of episode 1.
So this will help with that.
I hope.
Oh yeah,
I
we
hope.
certainly hope so.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. So we have a clip that we would like to show that you guys put
Absolutely.
together. So you
Right.
can just, I guess you can explain it either after we show the clip or during the clip. Let's take a look.
It speaks for itself.
There are many people in this life that have disabilities, and they went on to do great things, despite their disabilities. You have great artists like, I think Jose Feliciano was his name. He was a great singer. I used to listen to him years ago, and I think he played the guitar. And also you have Stevie Wonder, you have Ray Charles, and others with disabilities, particularly blindness. But they did great things. So you can achieve things despite your blindness. We had a president of the United States of America who was in a wheelchair, and despite that, he was a great president, Roosevelt. So we have people that have every kind of disability that you can imagine. So despite it, they can do great things in this life now.
As long as people are negative toward, I don't care if they blame their parents or blame their brothers and sisters or blame society. I don't care who they blame. If they blame God, they're still not going to grow. As long as I live in a blaming attitude, I don't grow. I have to put the blaming aside and start to grow. Faith is what helped me put the blaming aside.
That was fantastic. The little clip right there. You want to explain what that was the imam,
That was the blind priest.
the blind priest.
Oh yeah, the mom and the blind
priest.
priest.
The blind
Yes,
priest.
I'm sorry.
And they were talking about some wonderful things there.
Right.
Jose Feliciano,
Right.
blind musician. Maybe you can add some of that music if you hadn't put it together yet.
will.
One of the parts. I don't
Right,
know.
right.
It's up to you guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well,
So what's next?
what's next? For me, I'm thinking about doing a third episode on the idea that I originally thought of blind people and how they perceive art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the original idea is going to take, because other things came to the forefront.
Right,
when you were coming
exactly,
up with this.
exactly.
Usually that's the way it happens.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'm going to focus on the original idea. That'd be great.
And you're right there every step of the way.
Yep. Oh yeah.
All right. So you do most of the technical work?
I do some of the technical work. Anthony handles the camera. I
Right.
handle the sound, and I help him co-direct and co-produce.
Pretty much.
We toss around ideas and see what we can do. So whatever needs to be, and if any AV work needs to be taken care of, I'm here to help him.
You're
that's
there,
him.
right
Yep,
there,
that's
every
him.
step of the
Right
way.
by his side.
Absolutely.
Okay, finally, how has BronxNet helped you in your journey?
Wow. You know, to edit, I started editing here. You know, I didn't even know how to log footage. And now I'm editing 2 1-hour pieces.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
But, you know, I started doing storytelling right here at BronxNet.
Uh-huh.
So, I mean, to go from like the 5-minute pieces that you see on this show to a whole hour story arc, that
Yeah.
That's
I owe that to this show, you know.
And what's special about editing that people watching who want to get involved should know?
It's really all about timing, I think. And you have to have a lot of patience and just look and have a editing eye and time.
All right, so you have your video.
Right.
Do you write to your video or write to just pieces that you shoot?
It depends. I mean, it depends on your style, or if the story tells itself, you know. It really depends.
So it's a storytell.
Right.
You're telling a story.
Exactly.
Yeah. Using video,
Right.
which is a warmer medium than radio.
we just say, you know, it's really our subjects who give us the material. We just string
Absolutely.
it together.
Yeah. And you guys
Right.
have the eye for it. It's coming out fantastic. It's coming out nice.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Good.
It's going to be on the air next week
Oh,
on
so-
Monday,
all right,
right
good.
after this
Right after
show.
open.
There you go. Why can't you play a piece during open?
Yeah,
Let's
why
try
not?
it. Yeah. Let's try it, okay? So the people can check it out right here next week on BronxNet's Channel 67.
Yes,
Yep.
right
Beautiful.
after open.
You guys are doing a wonderful
What
job.
a great follow.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
Filmmaker Anthony Saldana,
Thank
right here
you.
from BronxNet, and Jason Figueira. Thank you guys so
Thank you.
much.
No
What would you
problem.
call yourselves?
We're a great team.
Never
Great
gonna happen.
team.
Never gonna
Productions.
happen productions.
There we go.
Okay, all right.
There's never gonna happen productions.
We'll keep a lookout for that. That's coming up next week right after open. All right. Ordinary People, airing right here on BronxNet. We got to take